be appreciative of the little steps forward. Every brick that you lay gets you one step closer to where you need to be, and it's not a setback when you see someone else that's halfway done, 3/4 done, whatever else, because you don't know what went into that,
right?
But you also don't know if that house is going to stand.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Deep MCs, the podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What's going on, man? What's going on?
Shep, what's good, bro?
Hey, making it. Struggling, but making it.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, man, that's the story of life.
Hey, you're telling me, man.
Struggle, but make it.
There was a question I was going to ask you.
Here we go with this
I don't remember what it was.
On the spot crap you keep dropping in these podcasts, man.
I don't remember what it was, so it's going to be a pass on this one, but it'll come to me. What are we getting into today?
Man, we are talking about the when we have success, right? In order to have success, there's going to be some struggles to get through it, right?
Right.
And it's overcoming those hurdles, man, so that we can continue to push through and actually reach the goal you said you wanted to reach.
Yeah. Now that you think about this, we did post an episode about what does success feel like.
Yeah.
And now here we are, however many weeks later, I don't know, going through that struggle portion.
Yeah.
Right? That struggle portion of success. And we kind of talked a little bit earlier before we started about, how you're feeling, how I'm feeling, where we're at and everything. And
right.
I think you're a little further along in the journey than
that's your mentality, man.
Then look, than I am, right? But either way, it's hard, and I trying to think about, like, for myself. Before we started this podcast, I said, like, I've really narrowed down my view, my viewpoint of things I want to do, right? Because I feel it's very easy for people to get caught up in, oh, well, look at this person's doing this and they're having a little bit of success, and this person's doing this and they're a little bit. So I'm going to try a little bit of this, and I'm going to try a little bit of that, and I'm going to try a little bit of that. And I think that people sometimes tend to gravitate towards what is successful at that time, and it's not even what they want to do.
It's not even what they're good at.
No, not even. They haven't even done it, never tried it.
Yeah, right.
Never done it, never thought about it, never anything. But then because it's successful, it's almost like, I don't know, it's fucking TikTok challenges or something.
Here
bullshit,
we go. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like,
that's exactly what it is.
Oh, everybody's doing it now, I want to do it, and you end up wasting a lot of your time chasing after this thing, and you just jump, and you never really get far enough along in anything to be successful or break through that barrier to attain that level of success, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, like, I'm really trying to keep a narrow view of what I want to do, and put my focus and efforts into those things, because that alone is a struggle. That alone is hard to break past that, to get that runner's high, if you will, right? You're going, like you said, right? Going past lap 10 and get that second wind and really go on. And, it's hard. It's hard. And I find myself questioning myself a lot. Like, is this really what I should be doing, right?
Yeah.
And then you start to doubt yourself. But at the same time, like, I think if you're not doubting yourself a little bit, you're not gonna make that extra tweak or that extra change or whatever. You have to kind of step back and reflectively look at yourself and say, okay, well, this is where I'm at. This isn't working. This is working. Should I really be doing this? Why did I start down this road in the first place?
Right. What was my why?
Right. Yeah. And recapture that fire, if you will.
Man, I think it's when you started talking, I remembered when I remember when Michael Jordan said that he was going to play baseball. Right? I believe the world remembers that moment, right?
Yeah.
Where he said he was going to, life had happened. I believe his father had passed at that point. And he was like, I'm going to play baseball, right? The best, arguably one of the best basketball players ever to live, right? Yeah. And here you are, he's leaving what he was excellent at to go try something else, right? And I think, sometimes I think we get distracted. I know for me, I can't even say we. I know I get distracted by lights and cameras, right? Yeah. Sometimes because I see the glittering happening over here, but it's not for the sake of wanting to do that, but it's within my stuff. All right. So okay, in real estate or in podcasting, right? They said, okay, to be a better podcaster or to make it, go viral or to do these things, then this is what you need to do.
Yep.
You need to do this TikTok, or you need to do this, or you need to create these reels, and you need to, and there's this list of things over here that people who have gained some overnight success now create a
this is how you do it,
a seminar around it, and then charge you to come to their seminar, right? Yeah. When they're overnight success. And then now you go to that success and you look at it and you're like, now you come back and try to apply all of those things which aren't in your wheelhouse. They aren't what you're good at. They aren't what you're, you don't even care about those. You hate doing them, right? And so it's going to come across in the work.
Yeah.
It's going to come across in the work. And then now what happens is you lose interest in this thing because now it becomes harder than what it was initially supposed to be. And I'm speaking from complete, full and total experience right now, right? Knowing that, okay, with book launching and all of those kind of things, right? This is what you need to do. This is where you got to go. So now I'm coming back and I'm trying to, pull it back together. And I'm the guy that wants to, I can figure that out. I can do that. So now I'm adding that to my plate. And adding it to the plate, man, I get frustrated. And now I'm like, okay.
This ain't
it. And then I end up moving on to something else completely because now this has frustrated me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing the success that I thought I should see in at this point. So let me move to something else. And I know that's what we're talking about today, is moving through that phase, because honestly, that push through is where you're going to find, is where you're going to grow, is where you're going to develop, is where that success is actually going to come. Commit and be consistent with it. If it takes 20 years to do it.
To do it, yeah. And that's the thing I think that a lot of people don't grasp and they don't understand, is the level of effort and the level of time it takes. Now, there is a lot of overnight success, right? There's a lot of flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. They're here and then they're going to be gone. And there's very few that, that are overnight successes that continue to be successful, year after year after year.
Right.
And, you said something when you were talking about, going to them and looking at them and seeing all the stuff that they did and then trying to apply that to you or to whoever, right? Mm-hmm, and that may not be what they're good at. And that's the thing, is that a lot of times, whether it's a team, I think about even whether it's, I don't know, my job or my outside endeavors or whatever it is that I'm doing, like a lot of the times where a lot of that failure is it's everybody trying to do everything, and not people building a team around their skills, right? What are they the strongest at?
Yeah.
You can have it, like, you talk about Michael Jordan and you look at the Bulls, and could everybody shoot a basketball? Sure. Could everybody dribble? Sure. Could everybody rebound? Sure. But that team was composed. They all had a part to play.
Yeah,
right? They all had a part to play, and they took what they were really good at,
mm-hmm.
and they let them do that. Yeah, you're still going to kind of do the other stuff because you still have to function, but focus on what you're good at, excel at that, and you see the success as a whole, as a team, as a group, or in your job or whatever it is, and stop trying to be the master of every single thing that is out there, because it's not possible, right?
That's a great it's not even groundbreaking, but it's great. The thought is, right, is that we know the success of teams, right? We know how they work. So why do we get out on that island?
You know,
and then forget, you know, that the teamwork is necessary.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things, and that's where I feel like if you have a good team, right? Anybody that's successful. You talk about one of the things, whether it's at a seminar or, you know, whatever, you're just talking to people. They always say, you know, surround yourself with people that are doing better than you, right?
Yeah,
but it's really surrounding yourself with a team that allows you to excel at whatever it is you're trying to excel at.
Right.
You know, you have your guy that's the money guy. You have your guy that's the motivator. You have your guy that, you know, will go out there and put on a chicken suit and do backflips for you, whatever it is, right?
Right.
And surrounding yourself with those people to allow yourself to be what it is that you are trying to be or trying to accomplish, you know, but also understanding that there's going to be lulls, there's going to be failures, there's going to be, you know, upsets, there's going to be the not wants. You know, I always think about, you know, we talk about working out a lot, and like I'm struggling right now to find the motivation to get back to working out consistently.
Gotcha.
For a lot of reasons, and we can go into those when we cannot go into those, but I think about all the times, like every time I'm just like, I should be doing it, but fuck, man, I don't want to do it. That's the time that I really need to be doing it.
That's when you need to kick in.
And it's hard for people mentally to push through that and be like, I really need to be doing this right now. I'm going to do it. And then if I can break that mental barrier and then I get out there and do it, it sucks the whole fucking time.
I'm mad the whole time.
But as soon as I'm done, I feel amazing.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to achieve every single day, but it's a struggle.
I believe that I believe all of who you are responds to, like at the end of it, all of who you are responds to the fact that you did it, right?
Yeah.
And now, because I'm thinking more holistically, right? Even in my movements are becoming just a little more, how is all of this operating together, right?
Yeah.
And so that's success. If we take it as a small piece and not try to make it this big, huge thing, but take it as a daily success. I conquered my day at the end of, you know, in that moment, I pushed past what would have been a roadblock or what has been a roadblock for me for the last 6 weeks, you know, because I refuse to do it. I come home, I'm tired. I have a legitimate reason why.
Right.
And I utilize that legitimate reason every day. And I'm okay with it because I've decided, you know what, this is just good enough for me for right now, right? But what happens when we change that cycle, right? When we inject something different into that cycle, it's an opportunity, I believe, for us to see something that we had never seen before. Right?
Oh, no.
And become a different person in that moment.
For sure, you know. But then on the backside of that, though, too, like I think, not really on the backside, I guess it's on the same side, where I people need to understand is that, again, when we think about success, I think whenever we talk about success, or if you mention success to somebody or about being successful, in their mind, there's a vision of whatever that is. It's not the same for everybody, right? Yeah. But in that thought, in their mind, that thought generally is like that Instagram photo, right? So that thought is a small flick of the majority of that person's life. Like, this is what success looks like. I'm envisioning, boom. But that one photo is 5,000 photos to find that one photo.
Yeah.
And then the 15 hours that they're working outside of that to get to that one photo.
Right.
And, you know, whatever else it is. And they don't envision, like, success isn't just that end result picture.
Yeah.
And half the times the end result picture isn't the success. It's just
the success was actually probably getting to that place.
Yes, is getting to that final boom. Here it is, and these are just some of the things that are the benefit of the work that I put in, right? And it's people try to mimic that end result, but that's not the successful part.
Because you've missed the thing is we do. That's just like, you know, going to these seminars and finding out, you know, this, that, or the third. Because we don't know what the catalyst was for them to get to there. They're not giving that to you.
Yeah.
They're just giving you these generic steps of, you know, what they do here, they do this here, and they do this here. And you work with the algorithm and it's gonna do this. But what was your why that got you to that moment that allowed you to create, you know, to when you failed at these things, to come back to them and to perfect them and to work through them, right? That's the part of it that none of these seminars really give to you. Some of them give them to you, right? But those are the ones that are specifically about, you know, championing your day, you know, those, right? That's what those are. But you have these that are giving you these ABCs, but they never tell you what was the reasoning why, right? People won't know that me getting a book done, what kicked it off was my dad dying, right? If you don't know that, then you'll look at me and say, oh, okay, you know, I can get the book done, but you don't know what the driver has been behind it to get it done and push through wife being pregnant, actually having the baby while I'm doing a book launch and not giving up on that, right? So, you know, those kind of things, I just shared it with you, but if you, you know, if I didn't share it with you, then you might not know why the fire keep getting staked. You know what I'm saying? Why I keep throwing logs on it, because there was some energy and some effort behind it that caused me to make a different decision, right? There was a cycle change that caused that thing to start moving in a different way.
You have to have the fuel. You have to have the fuel to drive the car.
Right.
You know, and I don't know. It's interesting that people look the way that people look at it and the way that people perceive it and the way that people take it in. I don't know. I don't know. But then the thing about it is, right, so success or extreme success or whatever you want to call it, the pinnacle of success, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. It's not for everybody. And I think that that's something that people have to understand, is it's not for everybody. But also, they also need to understand that, like you say, when you're going to these seminars, you're going to this or you're going to that, you're not going to have the same outcome, because within success, so too, like you've kind of alluded to earlier, a lot of those people, they did A, B, C, D, and E, but they were also just so happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, right.
You know, they just so happened to be, you know, walking down the street and they bumped into Joe Schmo and they had their business thing with them, and it works, right?
Because I mean, you said that one of the reasons that a lot of podcasts and a lot of those things jumped off real quick is because we were in COVID. Yeah, and people couldn't go anywhere and they couldn't do anything, right? They had nothing to do. And so they're locked in front of YouTube and TV and, you know, and needing something to kind of pass the time. So a lot of those things kicked in.
Yep.
And you saw a lot of quick success.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in those moments in a lot of areas, right? A lot of success and a lot of failure. But those that hit quick success, if you don't factor that in, you'll be over here working, thinking, okay, I can do it just like that. I can do it just like that. I can do it just like that. And downplaying your personal success. Maybe you have 3 subscribers in 3 months where they had 300 subscribers over 3 months, right? But you're looking at these numbers and you're comparing them. Oh, I should be further along. Well, the whole situation was completely different too.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything's completely different, you know? And I think about, and I think we had talked about it before too, like even, on the other Instagram, right? And running reels. Yeah. You know, and you see like you put a reel up, 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 right? And it's like 3 views, 4 views, 5 views. And then just one day you throw a reel up, there's like 24,000 views, right? And then it goes right back to 1 view, 2 views, right? Right, and that's the thing, right? So you never know what's going to kick it off, who's going to take it, who's going to run with it, who's.
And even some of our guests have talked about that, right? Yeah, for you know, sure. They've talked about how, like, what is it that they loved about this one, right? And then you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to do it. You're trying to repeat it, right?
And it's hard to do. Yeah, you know, it's just happens to happen, right? But you know, I don't want to equate it to the lottery, right? But in a way, it is. You know, it's a numbers game. You have to stay consistent, stay out there. You have to be seen as a person that's consistent, right? And even if it may not pay off in the end the way that you feel that it should, you're going to be worlds away from where you started.
That's it, bro.
You know, if you keep trying.
Yeah.
And I want people to be able to understand that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm excited, bro, because sometimes we forget that you and I started at one podcast, right? We started at like a 1 day podcast, right? And we recorded, there was number one. And now we're so far past that number one, right? And even our conversation is different, right?
Yeah,
what you just said right now is like, I'm like smiling, right? Because did you hear what this dude just said? I mean, the fact that we are at that point, you know, now we've had success.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? We've had some success. And what algorithm are we checking, right?
Right.
Are we checking the one that we're hoping somebody else is looking at or somebody else is saying? Or in our thought process, has our algorithm changed, right? Has this process sitting at this table been beneficial for you and I? And I can say yes.
Oh, you know, for sure.
Unequivocally, yes.
For sure.
And so with that's part of the journey, right? Is that we're not just sitting here creating content just willy-nilly, but we're creating things that we're interested in, and that hopefully through a conversation, we'll actually see something different.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that 100%. You know, it definitely has been a success, you know, and it's a success on all sides of the field, you know, but within that, you said a lot of things and it sparked a lot of thoughts, right? So it's just interesting because, you know, when we started out, there was very much so, there was an uneasiness, a weirdness, right. So whatever, this is that. And then you can see as the shows progress that there's a smoothness, right? There's a comfort level that comes with it.
Right.
You know, the conversation just kind of flows, and that itself is a success. But then I think back, like, hypothetically, if the show was for whatever reason to be in front of whoever would make the show, whatever it can be, if they were to look at episode 1, episode 2, versus, you know, episode whatever, 60, whatever, 70, whatever, they're gonna be like,
I don't know. Right? The boys look a little green.
I don't know. I don't know if this is it. Right? I don't know if this is it. So, you know, taking those at bats, or, you know, getting up there and really trying, taking those
getting
shots,
in the batting cage.
Yeah, and having that repetition, even when we didn't want to do it, or it may not be the thing, right?
Right.
That's success. The growth that comes from it is a success for me. You know, even though we don't get to consistently sit down and have these conversations that frequently, right? For whatever reason, life, sick, you know, whatever. But being able to come to the table is, it re-energizes for that upcoming week or whatever that's out there, right? Even for that little bit of time. And for me, that's a success, right? To kind of break up that this is the mundane, this is where I'm at. You're drudging away because you are, you know, as you're chasing and you're trying to figure out, you know, what does that end result look like? What does that process look like? It is, when they say it's a grind for a reason. You're going to get up. Right. You got to do what you don't, right? You do what you have to do, right? In order to be able to do what you want to do. Right. And that's some boring shit, you know. Waking up at 5 a.m. to work out every single day.
It get real redundant.
It gets real quick.
Yes,
sir. But the results, the end results are what drive you, and the end results say this is the amount of work that I put in, you know. And yes, there are fast ways to get to that end result, but that quicker way is not going to be a way that fulfills you, and a lot of the times you're gonna end up right back where you were.
Right? Because you didn't learn the lessons through that slower process, right?
Exactly.
There was that immediate. Even those people that have had quick success up front, they didn't learn so when they hit a roadblock, they don't know how to jump it, right? That hurdle cripples them because they had that immediate success and never worked through some of these other smaller quirks or issues, or not having to troubleshoot why the mics aren't working, or why the Zoom sound didn't, know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, fuck Zoom, by the way.
Hey, dude. Some of those things you run into, we're equating it to this, but some of those things, little small things you run into that you have to troubleshoot. That doesn't happen without it falling apart.
Trial and error.
Yeah,
trial and error over and over again. And that's huge, right? It's huge in a lot of ways. And, it just sucks because, you have to go through the shittiness.
Yeah.
Right? And now, like we said, this whole conversation started, like, I'm in that position now, right? I'm in a position of like, the energy level is waning.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm settling into a place where I really don't want to be, and I'm trying to find that drive.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find that passion to kind of wake me up out of that lull to get back on the goals that I want to accomplish, because it's so easy to get caught up when you work 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours a day.
Right.
You can get caught up in that. You're trying to live your regular life and, clean the house and still be social and, take out the trash and all that other bullshit, right? It takes time.
Right.
And you get tired.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, bro, those are all parts of the journey, right? But I think we have something. You said it earlier, looking forward to this moment, right?
Yeah.
It may take a lot to get here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The week you had was hell, or whatever was going on, right? And it takes a lot to, we plan it out and we say, okay, we're gonna do it on this day and this is how we're gonna work through it. And before you get to that, you had a whole lot of things that have happened, right?
Yeah.
You've had a whole lot of other meetings. You've had probably 10 times the amount of conversation. So to think about, I'm gonna come and sit down at the table and have another conversation. Right? All of that weighs in on that. But I believe when we get here, something shifts, right? Something, the weight of all of that transfers back to wherever it was, at least for, a couple hours, right?
Yeah.
And we're allowed to sit here and kind of, at least at some point, talk through and put some of that energy back in the tank. Add a little gas back in of what you've given out. Some of it is given back because we're able to sit here and kind of talk through, that I almost gave up.
Yeah.
Or I'm at the point of
giving up.
A point of giving up. But there's something that is said in these conversations. There's something that we talk about just kind of organically. That's like, you know what? I got a couple more weeks left in me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it comes back together.
No, it does.
So this, right? That team is important, right? However big or small it is.
Yeah.
That team is important because there's something that's going to be said or something that's going to be done or an idea that's going to be put on the table that is going to shift the perspective even just a little bit.
Oh, no.
Even a little bit.
100%, and you said something that is, I think, kind of key. And you talk about the amount of time through the week and then finding the time to sit down and have these conversations. I think that is a testament to everybody listening, everybody watching, like finding the time, right? Finding the time. And, I think that people think, I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Here I am just putting my thoughts on everybody else, that when you reach a level of success, right? Whatever it may be, whatever your ideal level of success is, to maintain that level of success, you have to find the time to do that, because the rest of your life isn't going to stop, right? Your family's not going to go away. Your chores you have to do aren't going to go away. Yeah. You're not going to be able to solely focus on, this is what I'm successful at, this is what I'm known for, and this is what I'm going to do. You have to factor it in. You have to work it in.
Yeah. The thing with that, the thing with factoring and working, and this is where I've fallen short, right? I'm gonna be transparent in this moment, is I always would choose the weight of everything else, right? I would focus on, my family is very important to me, but I would pour everything I had into that. The other things became more important. Where now there's a shift that's starting to happen in my thought process. I'm choosing, because if I'm successful in what I said I was gonna do, it's gonna help everything else.
Yeah.
And so I have to be a little strategic. I have to be more intentional about taking the time. Not saying, okay, I'm gonna put a few minutes here, but I have to say, okay, guys, I have to
do this.
I have to do this. I'll be back, but I have to do this, because if I do this, then it's gonna make it where I don't have to leave and make that time, right? It's gonna make it so that I can really focus. If I could focus right now, get this thing moving, then some of it is gonna start to churn on its own.
Exactly.
And then now we can go together.
Yeah, right? We can have a little more time.
A little more time.
And that's right. That's why these conversations are important. That's why, and we're gonna have this conversation again in 6 months, 10 months, or whatever it may be, 3 years, 5 years. You're gonna have those conversations again, because there's always gonna be that peak valley. And I think I said it before on the show. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But what you're saying, I can't remember the article. God dang, this is why we need a Jamie. But there was this, obviously this black female CEO that she was saying, about making the sacrifices and doing it for the family, and like what she had to tell herself is, through the process of getting to success, you don't have to go to every baseball game, you don't have to go to every recital,
right?
You have to.
You're not a bad parent, you're a bad friend.
You're doing it for the family. You're making that sacrifice for the family, and a lot of people can't make that distinction, right? They think, oh, I'm gonna scar my kid if I'm not there, or whatever. I come from the complete opposite, where dad wasn't around and mom damn sure wasn't going to everything, so there's nobody there for. I'm out there running track, waving to nobody in the stands, but it is for a reason. If you're doing it for a legitimate reason, see it through. Make that time. Because the more you become, I don't want to say wishy-washy, but the more you become hot and cold, the longer it's gonna take for you to get there, and the more you're putting the family through, because you're not just gonna knock it out, And I tell people, which I probably should listen to my own advice sometimes, and I say, hey, how old are you, right? I don't know. You're 30 years old. Okay, well, you got a good, say, 40, 50 years left of living to do, right? Are you going to tell me right now you wouldn't sacrifice 3 years, of the next 50?
That's good.
To just get it done.
Quantify it.
Yeah, and put it in there, and now you can take the next 47 to do whatever you want.
Right? That's good, man.
And people, when they think about it, they're like, well, yeah, I would. But once they walk away from that, then it goes right back to,
because life hits, right? Yeah. But what am I do?
Exactly. But put in that time. And, you see a lot of these people, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, whatever, the ones that are really successful, they put in that time on the front. When we did the interview with Weston, right? We had Weston on the show, right? Shout out Weston K, Roseanneville. But like he said, he's chasing it right now.
Yeah.
Get it all out there, build it all right now, get it all set up, and then you take that break. Right. Then you can step back, because now it runs on its own, and there's a lot of people out there that,
man, the thing, and architect brain kicked in. Crazy fact. I was reading, I don't know what took me there. I've always wanted to go to Rome, right? And of course one of my favorite, probably my favorite movie is Gladiator.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I love that whole the Colosseum is just a feat of architecture, right?
Yeah.
And they say it took 20 years to build. right? 20 years to construct that thing, stone by stone, brick by brick.
Yep.
But it's still standing today. So just what you said, right? It took 20 years to build that thing, and it became the epicenter of, you know, everything that was going on in that time period, right?
Yeah.
And today it still stands.
Still
right?
there.
There's a couple cracks in it, right? There's a couple pieces missing.
Yeah.
But what longevity are we building for today, right? Are we building it in a way that where it's going to last? Or are we building it on sand, or are we building on a solid foundation, right? Because that sand is gonna move, it's gonna shift. That foundation is gonna be trash in the next 45 days, right?
At least.
So that quick stuff out of the gate is part of that. You know, if you don't build anything around that to sustain it,
right,
then, you know, those are the things, man. So let's not take our slow progress as no progress.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, and that's words that need to resonate with everyone.
Yeah,
you know, and needs to be a part of everybody's, I don't know, daily mantra as they go out, you know, and be appreciative of the little steps forward. You know, every brick that you lay gets you one step closer to where you need to be, you know. And it's not a setback when you see someone else that's halfway done, 3/4 done, you know, whatever else, because you don't know what went into that,
right?
But you also don't know if that house is going to stand.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly.
It looks real good.
Yeah.
But then, you know, in 5 years,
because they skipping 3 steps. So they may be a year ahead of you, but they didn't put the right mortar in, or they didn't put the right, you know what I'm saying? And so they use a different type of, you know, connector, right? And so that connection, while it may last a period of time, they're going to have to come back to it sooner.
Keep touching it up.
Keep touching it up. And so they're going to be stuck repairing while you're still building.
Yeah.
That's, I feel like, you know, that I'm a little energized already. I came here, you know, like, okay, here we go. And the table is doing what it does, right? There's something about sitting here, man. It does. There's something about sitting here and having this conversation with you. That is a success all day long. Full success.
Man, look, we'll park it right there. Leave it right where it's at. Done. What's going on, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We appreciate you listening for sure. But we need your help.
Yeah, we need your help. We need you to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can continue to make great content for you guys.
Yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe.
And it's right here on the screen. Everything you need.
Right there. Thank you so much, guys, for listening.
All right, take care.